Howdy YouTube, Eznix here with a little changelog style video, I guess. This is for the Ezarcher spins. If you've been keeping up with the project, you would have noticed over the past couple of months at least, every 2 weeks or sometimes even a week, I'd have some new ISOs up. It's because I've been looking into a few changes. One of the big ones are the introduction of two new ISOs, one for the Gnome desktop, made a video on that last time, and one for the LXDE desktop. So right now we're running at 7 different ISOs. They're all the same software except for the desktops. And what I did recently is change over to LightDM for the display manager on the GTK desktops. Gnome, Cinnamon, LX, no, not LXDE, Cinnamon, Mate, and Xfce. The LXDE desktop got the LXDE greeter, and Gnome is using GDM. The two Qt desktops, KDE and LXQt, are using SDDM, login manager or display manager. Let's open up this VM here. Well, let's look at this VM here. I'm going to switch it to full screen. Hopefully it'll be a little easier to see for y'all. There we go. We are full screen. Now, I know my face is taking up the lower right corner, but you got to put up with that. I'll try to avoid moving things behind that corner. So, on the Xfce desktop, we're going to use this as the display for the video, but all of the ISOs are available. The templates you can see are Cinnamon, Gnome, KDE, LXDE, LXQt, Mate, and Xfce. So every ISO comes with all the build templates. Now these templates are, if you copy them out of the folder, put it in the home folder, and then extract them, you have the entire build files necessary to build that ISO. So any ISO you download, you get all 7 build templates. Now you have the steps.sh script, which does the actual build, and all of the definition files and included settings are in each tar package for each template. Now, we're going to go through and I'll show you some of the changes over the last few months. As you can see, Xfce is now running desktop 4.20. In the profile def.sh script, we're going to open these all with mousepad. That'll be the easiest to view. Make it big. The naming, I went back to the full date for the ISOs, and everything else pretty much stays the same here. In the packages file here, we're going to open with mousepad again. And if we go all the way to the bottom, you can see the display manager is now LightDM. I include all of the associated packages with LightDM, the greeter, the settings, and Light Locker. So all that should work. One thing that I did have to adjust for very recently, and this is between March 22nd and the April 2nd ISOs, was Arch dropped the arc.-gtk theme package, and that was my favorite theme for GTK desktops. That's why I released the April 2nd ISOs so quickly on the heels of the March 22nd ISOs, because the package list would then contain packages that were no longer available in the Arch repos. Now, if we go to appearance or settings, sorry, and then appearance, I did include the Materia GTK themes, which are very similar to the Arc themes, as well as the Orcus, if that's how it's pronounced. The Orcus themes are also very similar to the Arc themes, and those are both currently in the Arch repos. So those come with all of the GTK desktops. Now, if we switch, we can see that looks really good. And let's switch our icons. Let's go back to settings and window manager and pick the corresponding window manager theme. And you can see this looks very similar to how the Arc theme used to look. This is how I like setting it up. I ship all of my desktops with all of the default settings. So Xfce looks how Xfce will look if you installed it right out of the Arch repos. Same with Mate, same with Cinnamon, same with LXDE, same with KDE, Gnome, and LXDE. None of them are customized. They're all stock default settings. I like doing that because it's easy enough to change the settings to what you or I would like. I include a number of choices, as you just saw. And this way, you can be guaranteed that I didn't do anything to the settings in my desktops that will introduce any possibility of funkiness when you install and run them. It's your responsibility to pick a style that you like, a theme you like, a background you like, and run with it. If you don't like the defaults, that's fine. Change them. That's what settings are there for, to be changed. Um, I really don't like, you know, distro developers, releasers who customize the desktop because invariably I am not going to like the choices they made. You might not like the choices they made. You might love the choices they made. One way or the other, you're going to want to make some changes, or I'm going to want to make changes. So to me, the argument was leave it default, let the user decide what they want to do. Okay, let's keep looking at some of the other changes I've made. If we go into the USR local folder, this is in the templates. I did update the docs files, or some of them. The EasyMate file, let's open this. The EasyMate file, I did make a couple changes here. I did change the package cleaning function to use packcache RK1, which is remove and keep one level of history. I used to have it set to pacman-scc, which would totally vacuum out the package cache, leaving nothing. This at least leaves you a little bit of fallback to the last version. I also changed the time of the journal cleaning function. It used to be set to 2 weeks. Now it's set to 5 days. So journal cleaning, if you use it, will clean more of the journal files. That was a very recent change. That was really part of the changes that went into this April 15th release. The README file, not a whole lot has changed here other than mentioning the, not a whole lot has changed here at all. Okay, never mind that. The install guides and the install scripts did change. As I said, packages like Arc GTK theme was no longer available. I had to remove them from the install guides. I had to remove them from the install scripts. if you like to use my manual installation methods. I did other cleanup, made sure all the desktop package lists matched back to the templates that I use. Things like NeoFetch I noticed were still included in some sections, whereas FastFetch is my preferred new system information tool in the terminal. Let's see, scripts. I already mentioned the EasyMate script. The changes that I showed you in the document for the EasyMate application that I develop. EasyMate is available from the menu here. It does require sudo privileges. Let's move it up here. And this is where you can run system update, reset all Pacman keys if that should be a problem, regenerate the mirror list. I do use exclusively US mirrors. You can change the script and specify whatever country you want or no country at all. Clean package cache, did go over that. It now keeps one level of history. Clean up journal space, did go over that. It now only keeps 5 days. Clean user cache on next boot. That sets up a temporary systemd unit to run at the next boot that will clean the cache folder, the .cache folder in the user directory. So it just wipes it. So whatever was in that cache folder, no longer there. And for the most part, I think for every part, all the contents of the cache folder, that .cache folder, are recreated by the applications in the desktop when they're run the next time anyway. And this way, it's totally clean. There's nothing there that's necessary to keep that I know of. If you know of something, let me know. Let's see, any other changes? Went over the new ISOs, went over the script changes. One thing in Calamares, the settings, the display manager, I did add the display managers listed here because now some of my ISOs use LightDM, some use SDDM, some use GDM, some use one uses LXDM. And GreetD, I was playing around with a Cosmic spin, but Cosmic is still way too new in its development. It's still alpha release. Plus, there was a problem I had getting Calamares to run in the Cosmic desktop. Now, I assume there's a way to solve that little problem. Until Cosmic is released as a full release, a real release, a 1.0, I'm not going to worry about it. Might revisit that. Cosmic was an interesting looking desktop, and I did enjoy it, and it worked well in Arch. Let's see, any other changes to Calamares settings? I don't think so. Any other changes to any other areas of the system? I really don't believe there are any other changes. Yeah. The packages in the Easy repo that provide Calamares, compckb, as at the moment I built this, it was the most current version of CKB comp. Same with downgrade, that got an upgrade. What else? Trizen hasn't updated in a couple of years, but it still works just fine as my AUR helper. And making it CPIO OpenSwap just provides the ability to the right settings files if you do encrypt the swap partition to open it during boot. Anything else? I don't believe so. As you can see, I'm going to continue making little improvements here and there. Let's see. I do want to open backgrounds. There we go. And now we have the two backgrounds that I provide. The lava lamp is my default. Now, since we're running LightDM, if we do log out, LightDM does automatically retain the wallpaper setting. When you first boot the ISO, it will be a black background for LightDM. But once you set a wallpaper, it will retain the wallpaper as a background for LightDM, which is nice. You can go into LightDM greeter settings, in settings, I assume, and make it any choice you want. You can change the greeter settings however you want. One thing I did notice on the Xfce 4.20 desktop, there is no, by default, volume control in the panel. You can fix that by going to Panel Preferences, add an item, look for Pulse Audio Volume Control, add it, and then move it into, whoops, the right spot. I like it just there. And now we have our volume control in the panel. So hopefully you enjoy, if you use Ezarcher, you enjoy it. You can appreciate some of the little changes I put out every so often. Just so happens the last few months have been wrought with little changes. Anything else to point out? Not really. So try it out. If you're looking for an Arch-based system, fine. Ezarcher is about as close to a stock Arch install as you can get. No hanky-panky going on with any settings. Everything's default. And then you can take it from there. If we open up I see grabbing the corner there. You can take a look at the fast fetch info here and get all the details. There you have it, folks. I'll probably do another video at some point if things change drastically or I get feedback on a certain desktop that's not working, but all of my tests, and they've been on hardware, the machine in back of me, and in VMs, have been good. So until I hear otherwise, everything's good to go. Hope you enjoyed. Take a look. If you like it, leave me a comment. If you don't like it, leave me a comment. I'll read it. I might even respond to it. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye, folks.